Hey folks, welcome to Whisky Wednesday. This is a new series that I've started up on this old Patreon account, but guess what? You're probably watching this on YouTube and all that stuff as well. But it's Tim from the Whiskey Geeks. We are back, baby. We're starting a new season of the podcast, so make sure you go to the Whiskey Geeks podcast feed to check out new episodes coming in June is when we're launching that. And then make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel because we're going to be doing a lot more reviews and all that fun stuff there too. But today is the first episode of what I'm dubbing Whisky Wednesday, which on my Patreon every other week, I'm going to be pulling out a random bottle from my own collection and doing a quick little review. So today, as the first one up, I decided to grab the Gauldrons, which is a lovely Campbeltown blend with fantastic packaging. This is from Douglas Laing, an independent bottler. Look at that fancy bottle with that little spider web there. Apparently that's inspiration of Robert the Bruce. After one of his defeats, he saw a spider meticulously building a web, and that gave him the inspiration to keep going. So as a proud Scotsman myself who loves the ghoul story of Robert the Bruce, I appreciate that bottle. So Douglas Laing, independent bottler, they do also make the Big Pete, as well as I think it's Epicurean, and there's a couple of other blends that they do specific to different regions of Scotland. So if you're looking for a nice entryway to kind of get, hey, what does this region denote? What are a nice kind of overall tasting notes and what you can expect from a region? These Douglas Laings are actually really good. So the Gauldrons, this is their Campbeltown blend. Campbeltown used to be the whiskey capital of the world. I gotta say, I'm a big Campbeltown fan. If you've listened to the show and heard me talk about whiskey before, you know that I love myself some Campbeltown whiskeys. And not specifically just for Springbank, which I think is everybody's darling distillery in Springbank, or in Campbeltown. Everybody loves to talk about how great Springbank is. It is good, don't get me wrong. Myself, I'm a Glen Scotia fan. I found Glen Scotia on a trip to Scotland. That was the first time I tried it. First time I tried Campbelltown whiskeys, actually. Completely fell in love with Glen Scotia. They are probably my favorite, if not second favorite distillery of all time. Them and Bunnahabhain. I love Bunnahabhain. I can't go wrong with that. So Glen Scotia is definitely a favorite of mine. So anytime I can pick up something from Campbelltown, I'm going to do it. We were able to... I think I got this bottle. It's been a few years, and it's been a while since I've tried it, actually, so I'm excited to get back in. But Campbelltown whiskeys, what are they known for? In my opinion, I think you do get a lot of little maritime-y sort of notes, like sea spray and all that fun stuff. Little bit of smoke, depending on the distillery. Again, this is a blend of at least 2 malts. If you know Campbelltown at all, you know that there's only 3 distilleries there. So odds are you'll be able to pick out what distillery this is from. I've probably met, well, I mean, I've named 2 of the big ones. I believe personally that the majority of the Gauldrons comes from Glen Scotia, if memory serves correctly. I haven't tried this in a while, so let's get in real quick and have a quick little sniffy sniff. Yeah, I do get, it sounds so pretentious, and I'm sorry for people who aren't giant whiskey tasting people and you're here for the first time or something. I'm sorry if this sounds pretentious, but I do get some sea spray and saltiness and brininess to it. Not like pickle juice briny though, so if you're new to whiskey and you think that sounds disgusting, it's not that. It's a lot more fresh, like you're standing on the pier of an ocean and you're getting that kind of sea spray, the saltiness in the air, the freshness. So you do get that. I do get some spiciness as well, just a little bit, but there's also some like brown sugar sweetness and maybe a little bit of citrus rind, lemony zing in there as well. I'm gonna have a little taste and see. Such a lovely whiskey. Oh my gosh. I forgot how good this was. Where are we at? 46.2% non-chill filtered, natural color. You can't really see the color in the bottle because it's that dark glass, but I will hold up the glass. It's really light and fresh. This whiskey is fantastic. Again, if you have not had Campbelltown before, people do talk about how there's a Campbelltown funk. I do think that's a lot of that is what you get in your Springbanks. Your Springbanks, Long Rows, I do get a lot of Campbelltown Funk and Long Row is done by Springbank as well. I don't really get a lot of a Campbelltown Funk in Glen Scotia. For me, it's just a lot of maritime notes, some brown sugary notes, some vanilla notes with a little bit of hints of like smoke on the back end. If you're looking for a Glen Scotia, that's really good. That has all of those together. The Victoriana is the way to go, in my opinion. Everything, the double cask is a fantastic blend from Glen Scotia too. But the Victoriana has like all those notes. So this, to me, I think this is a lot of Glen Scotia malt in here. And then they've probably done a little bit of blending with maybe some Springbank, maybe some Longrow. But overall, this is a fantastic dram. These aren't too expensive as well. You can get them in Canada. Sorry, I'm in Canada, for those that don't know. You can find this. It's tough to find it in Ontario where I am, but in other provinces where the sale of alcohol is privatized, Alberta, you can tend to find this a little bit easier. Shops do bring this in. So this specific one is actually, it's batch 4. So they do a number of different batches. Every year or 2 years, they come up with a different one. They do have a sherry batch as well. So it's the Gauldrons blend, and then they finished it in sherry casks. I've tried that one as well once or twice. It's fantastic. I don't own that, so I'm not going to do a full review on it. But I do have this one. So the Gauldrons Campbletown Blend, a fantastic whiskey. I'm not going to give scores on these. I'm just going to kind of give you little tasting notes and stuff. But again, it's fresh, it's clean, a little bit of saltiness, a little bit of sea spray in it, little whiff of smoke. So if you like smoky whiskeys, if you really like the peated stuff, I'll be getting to a lot more peaty things in another video in another week. But this isn't like super smoky. There's just enough there to kind of give you a little bit of a hint of smokiness, which makes it a very, very lovely dram all in all. Well, thanks for checking out this little quick video on the Gauldrons, part of Tim's Whiskey Cabinet, Whisky Wednesday reviews. I still haven't honed in exactly on the branding for what I'm doing for these videos. But you can check out our YouTube channel. You can check out our podcast with the Whiskey Geeks. Or if you would like to join along with this Patreon thing, it's free for a little bit. I originally was going to put the paywall up in June, but I'm going to extend that because I'm really enjoying making all of this content. So we're going to extend the free time so you can jump on into Patreon for free. You get all of the content. You get these whiskey reviews once a week. My old podcast, the Murdoch Music Podcast, I'm re-releasing that with new intros. So the very first episode I dropped was an interview I did with Frank Turner from a number of years ago. We're going to be doing other episodes. I interviewed like Tim Hicks, Gowan, lead singer of Styx and Canadian royalty, music royalty. Chris Cresswell from the Flatliners, Strung Out, Belvedere, who else? Fred Penner, some Monsters of Schlock, the Freak Show people, and then some music industry folks too, like Jeff Hyman, who actually was a mentor of mine when I used to be a booking agent with Deggy, and Mike Roth, who's a professor at Fanshawe College and used to be an A&R guy back in the 90s and was one of the people that discovered Our Lady Peace. So lots of great conversations happening in my old podcast that I'm re-releasing again, exclusively on the Patreon, so you got to follow that. But again, it's free, so check out the Patreon as well. And also, I'm going to be doing behind-the-scenes stuff for my comic book, Frog Bucket. I made a comic. And I'm currently working on issue 2, so you can watch behind-the-scenes stuff from that. But every other week is going to be more whiskey reviews. The Gauldrons Campbelltown Blend, what I think is primarily Glen Scotia. Very, very delicious. If you ever see it on the shelf and you're looking to pick up something new or you want to try something different, you want to get into Campbelltown whiskeys without paying the hilarious amount of money to get a Springbank, give this a shot. It's wonderful. All right. Cheers, folks. Happy Whisky Wednesday. Raise a glass. Have a dram. Tell me what you're drinking. All right. Bye.